Stronghold is a weird game. In it, one of you takes control of an army, cowering bravely inside a castle.
Hang on, cowering bravely, that doesn't even make sense.
The other takes control of a force of orcs, goblins and trolls, trying to crack the place open like a safe.
Right. We say it's a weird game because it has a fantasy theme, it has a whole chocolate box of options and spells and choices, and so you might look at it and say, oh, you know, that's a nice bit of fun, but no, Stronghold is a positively intimidating game. For all of its options, there's almost no random chance in the game at all, no dice rolling, no hand card holding, none of that kiddie stuff. It's a game of clockwork cruelty where perfect information sits out in front of you, huddling in the cold light of day, where your success or failure is determined by your ability to see disaster a mile off or only be aware of it when it's knocking at your door or bashing it down.
Yeah, and as the aggressor, what you're seeking to do is tease the hard maths and facts of your situation into traps so you can plunge some other number through your opponent's defences like a deadly stiletto. Because the moment you slip so much as one tiny goblin over any of the game's walls, the game ends. These chocolate boxes of powers the game's given you are poisoned. It's not giving you a lot to play with, it's giving you a lot to remember.
Oh, if you're going to get food, can you get me some breakfast?
No, you're under siege. What? Oh, Paul, how long's this kebab been here?
Oh, that has been here since I moved in.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Awesome. History kebab. Anyway, Paul, can you move the table so we can play? And the sofa. So you might think as the outnumbered defender, yours is the, trouble, the dangerous game, but really as the aggressor, the pressure is on. Because every turn you fail to get into the castle, one of these victory points flips over to your opponent's side. Every turn you spend crashing against the walls like an impotent ocean, the more likely it is you'll ultimately lose, even if you get in. Worse, the system you have of shuttling all your troops in is awful. It's brutal. Look, so you get your troops out of this bag, and then they all arrive at these same 2 points. So while you can attack the castle from 8 sides, ultimately you'll have to spend turn after turn moving the troops to these battlegrounds and then finally up to the wall. The whole time they're being shot at by archers and cannons and God knows what else. And they don't deserve that. Look how small and cute they are. Look how tiny they are compared to an ordinary reference pair.
Thanks, reference pair.
Thanks, reference pair.
I don't know what he's talking about. As the defender, the real terror is yours. Every turn the attacker only grows stronger while you're whittled away. You see these warriors, these cubes around the walls, the archers, the defenders, they're all you get. Ever. And at the end of every round, when they're injured and they go to the hospital, it can only save 2 of them a turn. And he's talking about, what, grabbing victory points here and there? As a defender, your choices are to release prisoners from the dungeon to man the walls, or take your own buildings apart to fill holes, a vain attempt to shore up your defences. Those don't win you points, they lose you points.
So, Paul and I have concluded that defending the castle is tough, and attacking is tougher, and defending the castle is even harder.
Because defending is really hard.
Yeah.
Although attacking is equally harder?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about time.
Yes.
Are you okay? Are you alright? You look a bit Joe Diamond.
You know what? Maybe we've been too tough on Stronghold's aggressor mechanics. There is so much fun to be had in figuring out how to combine poisons and ladders and dark altars, how to combine sergeants and saboteurs and spells and siege towers, trenches and trebuchets, bombs, banners, ballistas and bridges and God knows what else. I mean, just for starters, let's talk about spells. So, spells are the only thing in the game that lasts for 1 turn. Everything else is permanent, which means they're awful, right? Well, no. For example, Gale. You summon a Gale, your opponent isn't going to be able to move men on or off a particular wall section. You lock them down. Fantastic. Also, say, Spectres. Spectres, if you think you're going to kill lots of humans in the coming assault, you cast Spectres on the hospital. Every human the hospital fails to save will come back to your forces as a ghost. It's like a lock-in at a deli, and you've been given all the ingredients you need to make the perfect sandwich. A murder sandwich.
Time is the oxygen that allows the defender to breathe. Every time the attacker cuts down another tree, every time they put up another palisade, they have to pay the defender in hourglass tokens. And the defender spends these to construct more of their own things, to create more platforms, to throw up cannons, to ferment boiling oils, to throw down at their attackers, or anything of a dozen other things to help keep their castle safe for just one more round. So, another reason Stronghold is a weird game is that the aggressor is his own worst enemy. Every machine they build, every contingent of troops they boss around, every hour they spend chopping down trees, training troops, all this time only makes you more and more prepared. We're very aware that all this imagery makes the game sound like something very colourful and thrilling, so let's not forget that the game's got a mathsy foundation. Let's have an example. You're the defender. A wave of orcs has just swept out from their camping grounds and is marching on your walls. This is it, the besiegers' big play. Men and greenskins alike will die like dogs tonight. What could be going through the opposing general's head at this point? Well, I'll tell you what is. He's thinking...
Okay, so if I've got 3 orcs, let's go 2, that's 6, plus 1 goblin, 7.
1 for the archer, 2 for the warrior, 3 for the veg, that's...
Against his, well, he's got 3 wall pieces.
Carry the nothing from the oil, but the salt... Ah, but he's got a banner.
Okay, plus the banner, that's 10, okay. Then he'll have an inspired, my 10 to his... My 10 to his...
Oh, what if he troll call? Oh, but there's no... Oh, the cannon!
Oh, sod it. What about the next wall? Hark! Who comes? What is it, man? You scared? Now you listen to me, man. There isn't a damn soldier on either side of that wall who isn't scared. And if there is, he's a fool. You hear me? A damn fool. But I'll tell you this. If you really are the most scared man in my army, in standing with the other men, you're also the bravest. Now you think about that.
Don't let us give you the wrong impression. Stronghold's numerical slant is easy to make fun of, but it's also really engaging, doing the mathematics in your head, looking for a hole in your enemy's statistics and then exploiting this and trying to do so with a poker face. It's a fantastically challenging game for both sides. It's going to be different every time you play, partly because the attacker has a whole different set of these cards that they can play with every time. What do you think, Quince? If there's one problem with Stronghold, it's that it's not such a fun game compared to many others we'd recommend. It's a very cerebral challenge, and it's not really so enjoyable when you're winning or losing by a very wide margin. That said, it is a really, really good piece of design, and we think it would probably be at home in most people's gaming collections. Now I'm going to use my bathroom.
Ah, right, okay, so with the goblin, that's 9 to your 7.
Ah.
That was good. What should we play next?
I don't know, something a bit less mathsy. I need to go to...
Yeah, less college, more bare-knuckle boxing.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so if I chose the theme for our second game, then you have to choose the theme for the third.
Whatever. 17th or 18th century colonial Canada.
What the hell is the matter with you?
I gave you a margin.
Yeah, great. Okay,
I
well,
have
come
to-
on.
No,
Let's go back to
no,
mine.
I
I'll see
can't.
what we can do.
Actually, quite urgently.
Paul, come on.
No.
Help